And I knew coming into this season, once people started talking, once I was here and experiencing it, like, people had a lot to say. There was a lot of negativity coming my way. And I just looked at it like, you know, I'm not used to this. Once I got here and was experiencing people's disapproval, it didn't really faze me because I still understood. I think I understood even more so that this is definitely a part of my plan. When people get to not liking you for no reason, I'm probably exactly where I need to be.
What explosive truth did Sydney Colson unveil regarding Caitlin Clark within the inner sanctum of the Indiana Fever locker room, sending WNBA bullies scrambling desperately to obscure their deceitful tracks? After enduring months of relentless fabrication from figures like Sheryl Swoopes, Angel Reese, and others, who consistently propagated falsehoods concerning purported team dysfunction, Colson has finally shattered her silence on the Post Moves podcast. Her incredibly candid revelation meticulously dismantles the entire narrative that envious players have been assiduously disseminating about the Fever organization. The unvarnished truth about what authentically transpired within that locker room is so profoundly divergent from the baseless claims advanced by the haters that it unequivocally exposes their meticulously orchestrated campaign of lies. And once you absorb Colson's precise, unedited words, you will immediately grasp why the Fever are strategically positioned in an utterly perfect alignment for a dominant run in 2026. Before we meticulously deconstruct her statement, please express your heartfelt appreciation for Sydney for bravely speaking her truth in the comments section below.
Nice. I just have to know, because I feel like everyone always thinks something about Indy. But once you say the Fever, it's like thoughts, right? So what was your biggest surprise after coming to Indy and you were like, well, you know what? These people kind of cool, right?
These were actually quite compelling, weren't they? Here's the precise genesis of this entire convoluted situation. The 2024 draft proceedings hadn't even reached their conclusion when a specific cohort of WNBA veterans initiated a conspicuously coordinated offensive against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever organization. It is absolutely imperative to grasp the chronological sequence of events here, as it lays bare the meticulously calculated nature of this entire campaign. Clark is officially selected as the first overall pick in April, and before she even physically steps foot inside the Fever's practice facility, these seasoned veterans are already systematically planting insidious seeds of doubt concerning her, and by extension, her prospective impact on the team dynamic.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Here we go.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
Sheryl Swoopes, taking the unequivocal lead, spearheaded this offensive with her inflammatory comments concerning alleged locker room dysfunction, uttered even before anyone had the opportunity to genuinely observe the team's internal dynamics. She publicly went on record, pointedly questioning both Clark's capacity to navigate the demanding professional environment and whether the Fever possessed the requisite team culture to adequately support her. These were distinctly not casual observations emanating from a respected veteran. Rather, Swoopes was meticulously and deliberately constructing a narrative of inherent instability around a team that had not even commenced practicing together. The collective sentiment within the Fever organization was in essence an exasperated, "Are you serious?"
People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit
it's
going
a
on
lot.
around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
That's precisely where I aspire to be. Angel Reese and Aja Wilson swiftly joined the fray, each contributing their own distinct variation of character assassination. Reese, in her interviews, offered cutting, sarcastic remarks concerning team chemistry, implicitly suggesting that individual accolades do not seamlessly translate into the intricate process of professional team cohesion. Wilson subsequently echoed this sentiment, delivering her own pointed comments implying that Clark was excessively overhyped and unfairly eclipsing the hard-won progress achieved by established accomplished WNBA veterans, even subtly injecting veiled racial undertones into the discourse. Their timing was nothing short of surgical. Every interview appeared meticulously orchestrated to relentlessly reinforce the singular message: Clark and the Fever were ostensibly unprepared for the rigors of professional basketball. The media, in turn, eagerly seized upon these insinuations, amplifying them into sensational, full-blown headlines alleging a toxic Fever environment. Sports outlets commenced publishing speculative stories about non-existent locker room tensions. Reporters, during press conferences, began posing leading questions designed to elicit confirmatory responses about team chemistry. The fabricated narrative rapidly snowballed, evolving from mere veteran speculation into widely accepted fact throughout mainstream basketball media coverage.
Asia Wilson is her name. Quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is."
What rendered this campaign particularly insidious was its profound effectiveness in cultivating widespread expectations of failure before anyone had the genuine opportunity to objectively evaluate the actual team dynamics. Fans consequently began to anticipate drama with an almost morbid curiosity. Other players within the league started to openly question whether the Indiana organization was truly a functional entity. The veterans had, with remarkable success, manufactured doubt in a space where absolutely none should have naturally existed. The precise timing of their concerted efforts reveals everything one needs to comprehend about their underlying motivations. Clark's arrival heralded an unprecedented surge of attention directed towards women's basketball. Television ratings were systematically shattering records throughout her collegiate career. Merchandise sales soared to stratospheric levels. Corporate sponsorships were inundating the WNBA at volumes and scales the league had simply never before witnessed. These veterans, seasoned by years in the league, were compelled to observe her effortlessly command an intensity of attention and adulation that they in their entire careers had never once received. What kind of justification can truly be offered for such behavior?
What kind of things do you feel?
I'm not in the locker room.
Okay,
I ain't
okay,
even
but
on the
this,
team.
I'm
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay.
stuff,
It's a turn.
right?
It's a turn, right? It's really a turn of the tides.
Well,
right.
Gil, here's my
Swoops, who by all accounts should have been enthusiastically celebrating the unprecedented growth and expanding visibility of women's basketball, instead deliberately chose to dismantle the very player responsible for attracting a fresh, expansive fan base to the sport. Reese and Wilson, both of whom directly benefited from the augmented league visibility and increased financial opportunities attributable to Clark's burgeoning popularity, made the calculated decision to metaphorically bite the very hand that was so generously feeding the sport's expansion. Their palpable jealousy was so transparent and unbridled that it in fact severely backfired on them, alienating a significant portion of the basketball fan base. This meticulously coordinated effort to depict the Fever as inherently dysfunctional was constructed entirely upon foundations of profound envy and deep-seated fear. These veteran players perceived Clark's burgeoning popularity as an existential threat to their established status within the league's rigid hierarchy. They observed a mere rookie effortlessly secure endorsement deals and garner media coverage that far surpassed anything they had achieved over their entire careers. Their response, notably, was not to elevate their own respective games or to enthusiastically embrace the rising tide that was undeniably lifting all boats within the sport. Instead, they strategically opted for sabotage. Then arrived the pivotal moment that completely obliterated every single falsehood the WNBA bullies had been assiduously disseminating about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Sydney Colson sat down for an interview on the Post Moves podcast and made the resolute decision to narrate the unvarnished, authentic story about what genuinely transpired within that locker room. Her timing was impeccable, precisely because the insidious false narratives had reached their absolute zenith of toxicity across both social media platforms and prominent sports commentary shows.
Yeah, I think the environment in the locker room was much better than what you would have anticipated as like somebody from the outside looking in. And I think that we were like intentional about doing stuff. Like when we got to the point where we started to hang out more and everybody was like, oh, like, yeah, like I'm enjoying people off the court. And at that point we were already like on a stretch of like winning some games. We're like, oh, well, if hanging out off the court helps, we should just keep doing that. Maybe it'll help on court. You know what I'm saying? So
Colson's precise words detonated with the force of a nuclear bomb, landing squarely on all the meticulously manufactured drama that Cheryl Swoops and others had been relentlessly promoting for months. She spoke with the undeniable authority of an individual who had personally experienced every practice, every team meeting, and every single behind-the-scenes moment that outsiders could only vaguely speculate about. Her unimpeachable credibility as a respected veteran player rendered her testimony utterly impossible to dismiss or attempt to downplay. Colson revealed that the locker room environment was in fact much better than what you would have anticipated as somebody from the outside looking in. She emphatically stressed how the actual team atmosphere demonstrably exceeded all expectations rather than falling woefully short of established professional standards. This candid disclosure directly and unequivocally contradicted every single negative story that had been systematically circulated concerning alleged team chemistry problems and pervasive dysfunction among the players.
Seeing that we got to the point that we got to without really developing an off-court relationship was like interesting, and it only got better, I think, as we started to do it more. But yeah, I think that was the most surprising thing for me, like the in-locker room chemistry.
She meticulously explained how the robust off-court relationships among the players actually served to significantly strengthen their on-court chemistry, rather than creating the distractions that critics had so confidently predicted. Players who deliberately chose to spend time together away from the immediate demands of basketball progressively developed a profound sense of trust that seamlessly translated into superior communication and coordination during high-stakes games. They attained a deeper, more nuanced understanding of each other's individual personalities and distinctive playing styles. This intrinsic connection proved instrumental in enabling them to proactively anticipate each other's movements and consistently provide enhanced support during challenging and pivotal moments. The veteran guard further detailed how teammates would naturally congregate and socialize together, entirely absent of any forced team-building activities or artificial mandates imposed by the coaching staff. Players actively chose to dedicate their valuable free time to each other's company because they genuinely derived enjoyment from their interactions. They would habitually grab meals together after rigorous practice sessions. They would conscientiously check in on each other during designated off days. These organic, burgeoning relationships collectively forged an unshakable foundation for success that simply could not be artificially manufactured through any number of corporate team-building exercises.
I look at my story sometimes and I'm like, damn, like, why did it have to go down like this? But then I look at it like at my age now and I'm like, I'm really glad that it did, because it made me tougher. It made me, I think, a more even like compassionate teammate. I think I already was one, but now I look at like everybody's value as important.
This was distinctly not some carefully crafted PR spin, meticulously designed to safeguard the franchise's reputation or to surreptitiously aid in future free agent recruitment efforts. Colson was, by every measure, an established veteran player with absolutely nothing tangible to gain by fabricating falsehoods about the team dynamics to present the organization in a more favorable light. She had long since solidified her distinguished career and impeccable reputation within the league. Her unvarnished, honest assessment carried profound weight precisely because she harbored no ulterior motives whatsoever for painting a rosier picture than the objective reality. Colson meticulously detailed how the team achieved impressive early levels of success entirely without the imposition of artificial, forced relationships, and subsequently, their performance demonstrably improved even further as those organic bonds deepened throughout the entirety of the season. The initial foundational chemistry allowed them to compete effectively and immediately make their presence felt, but as individual players progressively deepened their personal acquaintances and understandings of one another, their collective basketball connection improved exponentially. They began intuitively completing each other's plays. They communicated with significantly enhanced effectiveness on the defensive end of the court. They celebrated each other's successes with an undeniable, genuine enthusiasm.
How was that ability to kind of switch your mindset from, okay, I'm this leader, I'm going to play on the court, I'm going to lead by example, I'm going to do all these things, to now I have a different role? Because that was the hardest for me, where I knew it was the end. I did. And I knew that that was kind of going to be the last time. And to be able to kind of go away for a little bit and then come back and switch into that leadership where it's good, back to what the team needs and things like that, because that had to be hard, because you are funny and you do make light of a lot of situations, but that was heavy to have to go through an injury like that.
Her exemplary leadership during the arduous rehabilitation from her ACL injury provided a profound illustration to younger players of what authentic mentorship truly entails within the demanding sphere of professional basketball. Colson remained deeply engaged with all team activities. Despite her physical inability to play, she proactively offered invaluable guidance and astute insights to teammates who were stepping into increased roles and responsibilities. She was instrumental in diligently maintaining team morale throughout challenging and difficult stretches of the season. This was unequivocally not the manufactured drama that outsiders had so eagerly envisioned would systematically tear the team apart.
It was just another one of those things. Like, I look at it as, like, I'm telling you about me getting cut, what my journey has been, all of that, like little injuries along the way. I just look at it as another thing where I had to trust that what I'm going through is still part of God's plan for me.
The veteran's steadfast presence throughout her recovery meticulously demonstrated how seasoned players ought to navigate adversity in ways that fundamentally strengthen rather than dangerously divide a locker room. She ingeniously utilized her injury as a potent teaching moment for younger teammates, imparting crucial lessons about unwavering persistence and the paramount importance of maintaining an unflaggingly positive attitude. Her exemplary approach powerfully illustrated to the rookies precisely how to steadfastly support one another through formidable challenges. This caliber of leadership directly and unequivocally contradicted every single fabricated story about veteran players actively creating problems for their younger teammates. Colson's unvarnished, honest assessment completely obliterated every spurious claim concerning fever dysfunction that had been assiduously disseminated by envious competitors and their complicit media allies. Her irrefutable first-hand account revealed the profound truth about a team that had genuinely forged something extraordinary together. The chemistry was undeniably authentic. The relationships were profoundly genuine. The prevailing culture was precisely the kind of environment that championship-caliber teams require to achieve sustained success. The veterans' candid words served as definitive proof that jealous critics had been fabricating narratives about a team they possessed absolutely no personal experiential knowledge of whatsoever.
I'm the kind of person that I experience people for myself. I don't just listen to things that other people say. I'll have stuff in mind, of course. I think it would be silly to not, like, keep in mind what you've heard, but I have to experience what I have to experience, and being on this team, it was definitely a good time.
While the detractors were busily propagating falsehoods, something entirely divergent was organically coalescing within Indianapolis. The actual Fever players were diligently forging bonds that would utterly astonish anyone who had succumbed to the incessant outside clamor concerning dysfunction and drama. From the very inaugural team meetings, both seasoned veterans and eager rookies commenced connecting on a profound level that extended far beyond mere basketball strategy. Elia Boston began articulating how effortlessly teammates forged connections off the court, right from day one. She observed players naturally gravitating towards one another during communal meals throughout team travel and during downtime between rigorous practice sessions. Boston witnessed teammates candidly sharing intimate stories about their diverse backgrounds, their cherished families, and their ambitious dreams for the forthcoming season. These were distinctly not forced team-building exercises, artificially mandated by the coaching staff. Players were, instead, actively choosing to dedicate their time to one another's company because they genuinely relished each other's presence.
What's your favorite memory from this season that fans aren't already privy to?
Probably, like, we had a gathering at, what city were we in, AB, where we were all, like, sitting at that long table, like,
we were on the West Coast, no?
Yeah, it was our West
Maybe
Coast
LA.
trip, but was it?
I think so.
Okay, but there was it was that time, and there was one more when I think we were in Mini. Maybe we were there for
we had that dinner, Commissioner's Cup. Yeah.
When we had a dinner. Matter of fact, that might have been the one because it was like basically the whole team there. It was the coaches, some of like their kids, support staff, and it was just like a very fun time.
The team made a conscious, concerted effort to meticulously build trust, primarily through simple, candid conversations and shared experiences that deliberately unfolded away from the immediate pressures of the basketball court. Players would routinely grab dinner together after grueling practice sessions. They'd conscientiously check in on each other via text messages during designated off days. Seasoned veterans would generously offer invaluable advice concerning the multifaceted adjustments required for professional basketball life. Rookies, in turn, would enthusiastically share their profound excitement about finally reaching the pinnacle of the WNBA level. These organic, genuine interactions organically created authentic friendships that demonstrably strengthened their on-court chemistry. Boston directly confronted the pervasive internet gossip when she had reached her absolute limit with the torrent of false narratives circulating online. She elucidated how teammates would regularly check on each other with the affectionate concern typically reserved for family members, meticulously ensuring that everyone felt unequivocally supported, both on a personal and a professional level. Boston emphatically stressed that the team's profound camaraderie was intentionally constructed, with every player actively working to foster a supportive atmosphere that directly and unequivocally contradicted every single negative story being disseminated about their locker room culture.
So once the injury happened, I'm like, once again, this is something that I don't fully get, but this must be where I need to be, sidelined. And it made me an even more vocal leader. It made me pay attention to things maybe that I wasn't paying attention to that other people had going on, so I could be more tapped into if they're having a hard time and I need to come over here and help them out, whether it's mental, physical, whatever. I had to get outside of me. And that was the lesson that I learned in this. I hope it's the one that God wanted me to learn.
The authentic test of their burgeoning bond manifested unequivocally when a relentless wave of injuries began to systematically decimate the roster throughout the arduous season. Instead of fragmenting under the immense pressure, the team, paradoxically, emerged stronger and more profoundly united. Players seamlessly stepped into unfamiliar, demanding roles without a trace of complaint regarding their increased responsibilities. Teammates demonstrated unwavering support for their injured colleagues throughout their challenging recovery processes. This crucible of adversity starkly revealed the true resilient character of their relationships. Sydney Colson's devastating ACL injury could have catastrophically derailed the entire season had the jealous veterans' insidious predictions about pervasive locker room dysfunction proven accurate. Typically, a major injury to a pivotal veteran player would serve to ruthlessly expose any underlying team chemistry fissures. Yet Colson's injury, remarkably, served to draw the group even closer together, as teammates rallied around her with profound solidarity throughout the arduous rehabilitation process. Players proactively ensured she remained deeply involved in all team activities, and they consistently endeavored to maintain her spirits during the prolonged and demanding recovery timeline.
We didn't love
karaoke.
Food wasn't the best, but we were doing karaoke.
People food.
My bad. We were like doing karaoke, dancing, people drinking, but it was just a fun vibe. And honestly, I think that set the table because that was right before Commissioner's Cup, and it was like
that money.
Everybody was just like loose and having a good time, enjoying one another. And I think we went into that game and we played like very free, very like together and confident.
Veterans such as Kelsey Mitchell and the remaining leadership core stepped up with admirable resolve, adeptly filling critical gaps in the rotation without generating any internal drama or demanding preferential treatment. Mitchell in particular willingly assumed additional leadership responsibilities while simultaneously maintaining her own consistently high level of on-court performance. Other seasoned veterans embraced their roles with a similar sense of purpose, actively assisting younger players in acclimating to increased minutes and high-pressure situations. The depth players, who were afforded opportunities due to the unfortunate injuries, emphatically proved their rightful place at the professional level. The team's pervasive next woman up mentality emerged as a profoundly crucial factor in their unwavering ability to compete effectively, despite the formidable injury challenges they confronted throughout the entire season. This cohesive approach underscored the paramount importance of every single player being meticulously prepared and ready to contribute when called upon. It proved instrumental in helping the Fever remain intensely focused and fiercely competitive, even when key players were sidelined. Every individual player understood their specific role and diligently prepared themselves accordingly.
Us winning the Commissioner's Cup championship, I think, was a a turning point in our
Yeah.
season where we believe like, okay, well, like we can
We
beat
can win.
anybody.
Yeah.
And I think a healthy us would have given anybody like a run for their money. But
Oh shit!
yeah,
an
that was probably
unhealthy
yeah.
Got to the semis.
went to
Game
the
5.
semis, game 5
Yeah.
overtime.
Yeah, for sure. But that was probably one of my favorite moments because it was just like the camaraderie was there. It was what you were talking about. When you got that chemistry with a team, it just helps you on court. And so yeah, that was probably one of them.
Their remarkable ability to adapt to diverse playing styles, particularly in configurations both with and without specific players on the court, showcased an exceptional degree of versatility and unwavering resilience. The team systematically learned to thrive within multiple distinct offensive and defensive systems, contingent upon which personnel were available and healthy to participate. They possessed the crucial capacity to adjust their offensive approach based on the specific players they had at their disposal. They consistently maintained a high level of defensive intensity, irrespective of which players were integrated into the lineup. This inherent flexibility blossomed into a paramount strength during a season conspicuously marked by a relentless array of challenges. The Fever were, quite explicitly, meticulously cultivating precisely the kind of culture that championship-caliber teams unequivocally require to achieve sustained success at the absolute highest level. Players harbored a complete and unwavering trust in one another. Veteran leaders effectively and proactively mentored their younger teammates. Every single individual on the roster bought wholeheartedly into their designated roles, prioritizing the greater good and collective success of the team. The profound chemistry they organically developed seamlessly translated directly into demonstrably improved performance on the basketball court. This was emphatically not the fractured, dysfunctional locker room that the jealous veterans had falsely proclaimed would inevitably destroy Caitlin Clark and catastrophically derail the franchise's meticulously laid future plans. Now that the unvarnished truth has been revealed, one can discern with perfect clarity precisely why Indiana is strategically positioned to absolutely dominate the league's future landscape. The formidable veteran leadership core that Colson played such an instrumental role in building is not dissipating. Quite the contrary, it is progressively strengthening with each passing season. These players possess an intimate understanding of how to collectively navigate adversity. Caitlin Clark is afforded the invaluable opportunity to develop her prodigious talent within an established environment that has already unequivocally demonstrated its capacity to adeptly manage immense pressure and pervasive outside noise. She is entirely liberated from the burden of worrying about internal locker room drama or malicious veteran players surreptitiously undermining her success. The foundational bedrock is already firmly in place. This resilient team culture possesses the fortitude to survive devastating injuries, relentless media attacks, and the insidious machinations of jealous competitors actively attempting to tear it down. They have been rigorously tested, and they have, with unwavering resolve, surmounted every single challenge hurled in their direction. Before we comprehensively break down these crucial insights, please extend some well-deserved appreciation for Sydney for courageously relaying her truth. In the comments section below, be sure to like, subscribe, and activate all notifications so you never miss out on any future content. Click on the video displayed on your screen, and we will rejoin you in the next one.